following program on Other Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations.
I think you've already heard of the phrase, when you do what you love, you don't really start working. You just do something that you're passionate about and you really don't feel the effort that you put into it. Now, if you really use that concept and start a business doing something that you love, don't you think that would really bring your passion to life and then not really make it as if you're doing a job or really putting an, hard effort into something that you really love? Because you really can do that, and there have been people who have been successful in doing so. We are about to have a conversation with one such individual who sort of brought her passion into the business world. Please welcome Maneka Warangi, the co-founder of OceanTheory Private Limited. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No worries at all. Now, you brought your passion into life, you brought your passion into a business. So we need to know a little bit about this wonderful business lady that we have with us today. Maneka, can we know a bit about you, where you started from, your schooling and everything else? Who is Maneka?
Okay, my name is Maneka. I graduated from Warangi University with a science degree. Then I entered 2 multinational companies in Sri Lanka. Then I just wanted to change my career into another field. So because of these things happen in my professional life and everything, so I started to doing MSc in psychology, especially in child psychology in University of West London. And currently I'm a part of my business, I'm a lecturer in psychology and I'm doing in lectures in private universities. Yeah, that's me. And our organization, the OceanTheory, we started in 2021, which we produce interactive educational tools, which mean board games, card games, and comics for the Sri Lankan audience.
Now here's the thing, they don't just make comics or educational tools, no. When it comes to OceanTheory Private Limited, and this is what is wonderful about your company, you really incorporate the Sri Lankan essence to it. You bring in the ancient traditions that we have, the folklore, the Sri Lankan folklore and such, they embed it into their product. So having such a business, I am so keen to know how that came about. Now, what inspired you to come up with a product that is delivered from OceanTheory Private Limited? Now, how did that all come to be? What really, what was your light bulb moment to be like, okay, I'm going to start up a business that's going to incorporate the Sri Lankan traditions and then be successful? How did that happen?
Actually, it's a very long story.
Oh, we've got the time. You can go about it.
That happened in, when I was an undergraduate, I did individual classes for the kids. So in 2017, when I did my individual classes with one very curious boy, he always got low marks for every subject apart from the history and Sinhala. So when I asked him why you have very less marks for those mathematics, science, geography and everything, and you have high marks for the history and Sinhala, what is the story behind that? He just told me, oh, miss, it's just a story. The history just happened once upon a time, so it's not boring, it's a story. So I understand my teaching method is not suitable with this kid. He is something else. Our teaching pattern is not suitable with every kid. So my next lesson with him was photosynthesis. So when I back to my hostel and I googled what are the stories that I can match with the photosynthesis and how can I teach that photosynthesis with storytelling way. So then I saw a board game called photosynthesis board game. So that happened in the sun moving around the board, trees are moving and everything, very interesting, but it is quite expensive. So I download the e-copy.
Right.
And next day, I play that board game with him. He is very obsessed with that and learn the basic concept with the photosynthesis. But in many ways, I couldn't match their other parts. We cannot relate with the storytelling yet, but somehow I managed that. And he learned with that. And so I saw, so that problem has with the every children, because they are teaching, their learning methods, their learning patterns are different. So when I married and everything happened in 2020, so when I went for a shopping, I saw so many board games in the market. You all already see so many imported board games are there. The problem is, in our education system, when we consider about the education system, it is just focused on the exams. Our education system mainly focused on the exams. I saw a research paper just published from the Education Ministry. They identified this is a crisis. Majority, over 60% students learn only for the exam. So their exam pressure and everything happen because they only focus on the exam. We don't have any educational tools in the market. So that's how we create Ocean Theory, to solve that problem, because parents don't have the options to give their kids as an education. Apart from the tuitions, we don't have anything in our market to give something new for the children, to learn something new. So that's how we created Ocean Theory. From all of that background stories, that's how we created Ocean Theory in 2021.
So I think it's an interactive edutainment tool. I feel like, since you have your psychology background also, you've properly nailed it, and you said that, you know, from child to child, their education patterns, their grasping abilities might change. Now, I myself as a person, I can't just read a book and absorb it. I need to teach it to someone. So likewise, a lot of storytelling, a lot of kids love it. They listen to stories end on end on end, and then once we incorporate a bit of subject matter into that, I feel like kids are able to grasp it, and you've proven that point. Now, I'm curious to know, now, the first child that you interacted with, who came up with the fact that storytelling was his go-to move, he got really good marks in history and Sinhala. Does that have to do something with the fact that your board games feature a lot of Sri Lankan heritage? How did that come into play?
Okay, like I said, in the market, we have so many board games, but they are very different from our culture. We don't have our culturally related things in the market. So when we consider about our every board games and comics, it has a very detailed background story. When we consider about our board game Evergreen, it is mainly about Sri Lankan biodiversity, endangered plants and everything. So it has a quite interesting story. So we want to give something Sri Lankan. We are not just copying the global market board games and everything. So we are developing our uniquely Sri Lankan cultural board games, because you know, the board game culture is not new thing in Sri Lankan market. We had board game culture in Dam and Olinda Kelly, Pancha Kelly, Magul Parak, everything we had. But with the technology and everything, our old societies which they had, in their society already gone. So we want to get back that our cultural, our uniquely Sri Lankan board games into the society, which kids are very familiar with that. You know, the photosynthesis or Catan or any other board games are quite different from our culture. So it is very difficult to relate, very difficult to child to grasp those things from those things. So that's why we want to relate our cultural, our Sri Lankan things for the young generation.
I think that also incorporates and brings a little bit of memory for the adults playing along with the children also. I feel like there'll be like a very bonding moment for the child and a guardian or a parent who is playing along with them, because like you mentioned, board games or other games such as Oli the Killier, we only hear of it during the Urdu season.
Yes.
That too, we also don't know really how to play it. And then if you're incorporating those sorts of cultural aspects into a board game, I think it'll re-jog our memories onto, okay, these are the things that used to happen back in the day. All right, so there's much more to discuss about OceanTheory, because it's not just board games that they do. When it comes to their edutainment tools and such, you also specialize in things like comics. So I'm very interested to know the storylines and how you'll come up with the concepts, and also the process behind your business, how you come about in devising different sorts of tools, and how you really navigate the business through hardships, and of course your journey as an entrepreneur. So we'll talk about all of that, but we're going to go for a very short break, and right after the break we'll be speaking on the topics that I mentioned before. So do stay tuned. This is Business Best. Welcome back to Business Best. We're currently in conversation with Maneka Warangi, one of the co-founders of OceanTheory Private Limited. Now, right before the break, I was talking on the fact that your business does not only specialize in board games, as opposed to just one edutainment tool, but you'll also do comics.
Yes.
I'm very interested, and I'm pretty sure everybody watching in, tuning also would like to know a bit more about your comics line. How does that work and what is it about?
Actually, the comic started in 2021, the main reason. So during the pandemic situation, there are one thing happened in Polonnaruwa district that everyone knew about it. In some huge water reservoir in Sri Lanka, what they just did, they removed that means Ralapanawa. You know the Ralapanawa, that there is a water bunt, and to control the pressure, there is a Ralapanawa.
Yes.
So what they did, they removed the Ralapanawa and made the jogging track. So it is there were so many protests going and so many things happen, and they just stopped the project. So what I realized, after 13 years of free education, when we come to the society and we are doing such kind of things, there should be a gap. That means what we learn in our school days, we didn't see the reality, we didn't see the match what we learn in school days and with the society.
I think, like you said, the education system is all about us passing our exams.
Passing for the exam. We didn't see the applicable, we didn't see the any valuable after we came into the society. So history, actually, it is a very boring subject for all of us, because it is the old text and facts and figures and everything. This is very boring subject for everyone, I'm pretty sure. So the Vapi, our comic book, it's mainly based on that incident. So it is a fictional story actually. So it is we are trying to give the main concept of Sri Lankan irrigation system. The Sri Lankan irrigation system is I'm very proud to say that it is our irrigation system is the greatest irrigation system in the world. When you just Google what is the greatest irrigation system, it is Sri Lankan irrigation system. No one have that kind of technology, that kind of things in other countries, in the world.
Even the Sigiriya concept is, people still can't figure out how that is done.
Yes. So, but why are we doing those kind of things in the society? So why can't we protect those things? Because our ancient people, our kings and the people who lived in those eras did so many things for us, because we didn't did any kind of thing. So the Vapi begins with that story, and we are going to, based on the fictional story, we are going to give some kind of irrigation technology, the concept of weather, concept of water reservoir, the water and the culture with that irrigation system. That is the Vapi. And I forgot to say, I'm the co-founder, and my husband Dilanka, he also the co-founder. He did all the drawings and everything done by himself, and story from my side. So that's the story of the Vapi.
Oh, okay. So it's you and your husband who has come through for this business. So you said the business started off in 2021. So this is during COVID time.
Yes.
We were married back then, or?
Yes.
Oh, this is cute. It's like, when it comes to businesses, I've heard a lot of people, they usually start them up with their friends or their batchmates and such. But it's nice to see that you and your husband has actually started up with business. And so from my understanding, he does the artwork, is it?
Yes.
He does the artwork. And the concepts and such?
The concepts mainly come from my side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a joint effort. It's a very nice union in that sense. Now, since you started the business in 2021, this was when sort of COVID hit us, and we were going through our recovery phase, and then right after that, of course, we had a lot of financial issues that happened in the country. Now, as a business, as a small business back in the day, how did y'all navigate these difficult situations? Like, y'all just started out. How did that work?
Yes, actually, it is a quite interesting journey. Once we develop our concept, and then we need to produce a prototype. Before we are going for the mass production, we need to produce a prototype. And once we went for a printing shop, I think we went for more than 50 printing shop. Everyone reject us because they don't know how to produce, what are the materials, and they didn't know anything about the board games and how are the things happening, because it is very new thing for the Sri Lanka.
It's just imported board games.
So it is very difficult for us to find the suppliers and the materials and everything. So I can remember we went for the PETA to get some materials, and first prototype we created it in-house. So we played so many times with that, and then we show it to the printing shops and everything. This is what we wanted. So during the pandemic, after the pandemic, we have to, as a country, we have to face the economic crisis. So the material costs were very high, and the printing costs, there were some kind of restrictions for the imports, papers and everything, inks. So it is very difficult for us to find the printing shops as well to match with our budget. So it is very difficult, and it is very hard time, but still we survived from that because in our product we mainly focused on the concept and the quality. So we have to bring that quality into that price range. So we tried very hard to bring that quality with that inflation and everything. We did really, actually it is a very massive work that done by me and my husband to bring that quality and everything into our product.
So here's the thing, when you start up a business with a concept that hasn't, reached the remaining business network in Sri Lanka, it's quite difficult to find sourcing, for example. Now, the issue that you faced, ideally now board games is not a new concept. We already have existing board games, but the catch is the fact that all we have is imported board games. So there are no real manufacturers of it, no real places to source the raw materials that you require. Now, for a business such as yourself, especially during the time that you started out, that would have been a real challenge. But like you said, you've surpassed it, you've gone through the challenges, and you found ways to sort of mitigate them. Now, as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, there would have been challenges that you've faced, you've overcome. Can we know a bit about that for our aspiring businesswomen out there who can really take on what you've gone through and sort of apply it to themselves? What sort of a journey have you had as an entrepreneur?
Mainly, we have to identify the clear why, why I'm doing this. Clear why. To identifying clear why gives the every strength to go this journey. Because if I don't see why I'm doing this, what is the things I'm going to do, because with my education and everything, I can go for a better position with high salary and everything, but I selected this path because my inner mind saying, so I have to do better things for the society. So yes, clearly and identifying what is your inner concept, what is your inner thing, the inner thing that telling you why you are doing this is very important. Then that gives so much strength to give this journey. So identifying opportunities, so the gaps in the society, so identifying gaps in the society is one thing to keep this journey as well. So because that we understand the education, there is huge gap with the conventional education system. So because we don't have any kind of we don't have diversifying education system. That's why, because the parents only have the tuition and the conventional education system. So that's why I entered this journey as an entrepreneur. So identifying why, the clear why is the main thing to go this journey as an entrepreneur, because there are so many drawbacks and it is a very rough path you have to go. So yes, that's it.
So it's a rough path, but the payoff is quite important. I love the fact that you mentioned that now with your educational background, you could easily actually settle down for a stable job with a high salary and high status, but yet you prefer to do this, to have your own business with your husband and of course, have that education and help in educating others. Now, with all that going through, now OceanTheory Private Limited started off with a really good concept to sort of bridge the gap between different sorts of education forms that is out there for children. And not only has that inspired a lot more other people to learn about our cultures, it has also helped a lot of kids as well in a very interactive sense. Now, for a business such as OceanTheory Private Limited, what sort of a future are you envisioning? What are the future plans, and what about sustainability of OceanTheory?
Actually, main thing is we have in local wise, we don't see much products in our society. So we are now we have already developed more than 6 products, and in January we are going to release another 5 products with the comics and board games for the upcoming year. And we want to give something globally, because our main customers based in the overseas, the people Sri Lankan who are living in the abroad, because they are craving something Sri Lankan. Because in the global board games and comic culture, they have already the knights, princess, prince, dragons, wizards and everything. And the Indians, in India, they have touched that market. They bring out their culture and into that global market. But in Sri Lanka, as a Sri Lankan, we didn't do that. We didn't bring our cultural things into the global market. So we are planning to bring out our cultural things, our cultural values to the global market with the global competitors. And we are planning to go with the partnership with the international educators as well, to bring up more values into our products. And we are trying to entertain with our products to give something uniquely Sri Lankan products into the global market in this edutainment industry.
All right, so we're wishing you and your husband and your team and your business all the very best for all of the future endeavors, and hope that OceanTheory Private Limited will be able to soar quite high, because the concept that you have is very valuable. Firstly, for the fact that, it helps education, it helps educate someone, and understanding that there's a gap that is in the market in our education system and trying to find solutions for it is quite a noble task. So we hope that you succeed in that aspect, and also to sort of incorporate the Sri Lankan culture, because we have such a rich culture here in Sri Lanka, and sort of taking that out, making everyone remember what it was all about and trying to make it international is also not a wonderful task. So from all of the aspects, from all of us, we hope that your business succeeds and wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
All right, now with that, we had a quite colorful and culturally enriching conversation with one of the co-founders of Ocean Theory Private Limited. Now, if you are also one such individual who has a brilliant concept but needs a bit of a push to really go through that, I believe our conversation that we had today really changed your mind and pivoted you to the right path in starting off your own business. Now, we also have had a lot of other success stories here in Business Biz. You can definitely check them out. All you have to do is log into youtube.com/Derana English to check out our previous episodes. Now, if you want to rewind and check on this episode once again, understand a bit more about Ocean Theory Private Limited, you could do that on the YouTube link as well. All right, then we'll see you next time with another aspiring story to help inspire you start off your entrepreneur journey. So we'll see you next time. This is Business Best.